I decided to pick an article that had a direct correlation to an essay we had just written in class on assistive technology. The article that I chose to discuss today is called The Effect of Story Format on Children's Brains. It is written by a pediatrician that works at Children's Hospital in Cincinnati by the name of Hooten. He wanted to look at the way in which children should be reading, or that they learn best from reading. He, of course, referred back to reading with a parent, a guardian, or someone older that could ask them questions and check for understanding along the way. But the three types of reading that he looked at in this study were audio, illustrated, and animated. He looked at children 5 years of age and had them hooked up to fMRI machines while they watched 5-minute video clips. He found that audio clips were a good fit for children who struggled with reading, and they made you use your imagination really well. While illustrated books were really good for a connection between the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, because they wanted you to look at that visual aspect while also trying to imagine these objects moving while also listening to the story. The animated books were just too much for the student. They were overstimulated and it was almost like they were watching TV. So he ruled this type of book out. So if I were to incorporate this in my future classroom, I would definitely go with illustrated or audio books. I like the idea of using illustrated books and allowing the child to watch as these pictures move across the screen to help them get a better understanding of what's happening in the book. If I'm able to have illustrated books in my classroom, that would be awesome. I would like to be able to download apps or maybe on my iPad or iPhone in order for the students to be able to use illustrated books by that time. In order to incorporate into my classroom, I would have silent reading days in which students got the option to use an illustrated book or a normal silent reading book. If I noticed students were struggling with reading, I would definitely recommend an illustrated book. In order for these students who are struggling to not get picked out easily, I would have options or requirements of all students to try an illustrated book at some time throughout the year. I would like to put them on a rotating schedule of using the illustrated books because I think it's a great way for students to learn how to read at a faster pace and also use their imagination while doing it. This is how I would incorporate illustrated books into my future classroom.